Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. And thank you for joining this morning's edition of Don't Sleep on the Dallas Cowboys, because you literally cannot sleep on the Dallas Cowboys because things happen late in the evening, late at night, first thing in the morning. So you want to be up to speed with everything that is the Dallas Cowboys. Ooh, we're only 29 days, 7 hours, 26 minutes, and 50 seconds away from kickoff against the Carolina Panthers. Guys, do you remember when I put this up? It was 90 some days. Those days are flying by. Time just keeps on moving. The Cowboys are back on the field practicing today. Friday, they break camp. Let me say that again. Friday, they break camp. Season's going to be here quicker than you know. Before I get on to the Cowboys, I want to tell you guys just one thing, one word to live by. And that is, do not waste your time. Time just keeps on going, keeps moving. It doesn't stop. Before you know it, you're an old guy like me. Make sure if you have loved ones and people that you care about, that they know how you feel about them. Don't wait till tomorrow, because tomorrow might be too late. I am blessed. I've got great kids. Michael, Aisha, Kayla, fantastic kids. I'm proud of them. I like to make sure they know that I love them and I'm proud of them every day that I can, because I might not be able to tomorrow. I'm fortunate that my two parents are still around and that my in-laws are both around. But as each one of these days goes by, I see them getting a little older, a little more feeble. My mother-in-law, is definitely slowing down. In fact, I got to change plans because I need to go down and check and make sure she's okay. But make sure you do not waste a single day. We only have so many of them. And when this day is gone, that's one day closer to the end. And we don't know how many we have. So make the most of each day. All right. So our Dallas Cowboys get back to practice today. Thus far, I would say it's been a pretty good camp. Now, talking heads out there will tell you that, well, the Dallas Cowboys passing game stinks and, Dak is struggling and all that, but be that as it may. I want to, and I've said this a couple times in the last few days, give so much credit to a former New York Stinking Giants trainer, Marcus Paul. Thus far, this has been the least injured training camp and off-season that we have had in forever. The fact that we have guys that are able to go out there day after day after day after day and work out is huge. You don't have your horses in the race, you're not going to win. We found that out last year. And thus far, everybody's doing pretty good. I'm curious to see when Malik Collins starts getting into the fold because, again, you want another guy in that rotation, big man in the middle. Brian Price quietly had a real nice game last week. He's stepping up and doing really good. But for once, I feel good about one of the mistakes that we had last year. I keep telling you guys over and over and over again that if one of three things hadn't happened, we'd been in the playoffs. And one of those was depth. Once we ended up losing a Tyron Smith, a Sean Lee, or a Zeke Elliott, the drop-off was so severe that the team suffered. Sean Lee goes out, you're giving up 100 yards more on the ground. 100 yards more on the ground. That's huge. Tyron Smith goes out, you give up 9 sacks to an Atlanta Falcons team. Oh, and by the way, brethren, you might want to be worried about that offensive coordinator that you had. I know your starters didn't play much last night, but the play calling that they made last night was putrid. You're going to miss Kyle Shanahan, just saying. And so you might want to decide to keep your mouth shut, because if your Falcons do like I predict they do and they fall on their face, I'm going to be emailing your ass every single day. I'm going to talk trash about you and your team. with the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, as you say it. Health was key because we didn't have the horses behind them. Right now, you look at positions now that we were really thin. Linebacker. Sean Lee is incredible when he's healthy. You cannot say that he's not. That defense is different. You see where Jalen Smith has come along. Jalen Smith in that game was night and day difference. One of the things Jalen Smith would do, again, besides just the drop foot, and I think this was partially because of the drop foot, is he would overrun plays. You know, the back is coming here, he's going over there too far. If that preseason game is any indication, it's just preseason, doesn't mean jack, is any indication of what he's going to be doing this year, he is going to be lights out. You team him up with Sean Lee, you're great. Van Der Esch looked like a rookie playing his first game, a deer caught in the headlights. Don't worry about him. He'll be fine. He'll be okay. But Joe Thomas stole the show. So you know if we lose Sean Lee for a couple of games like we do, you're okay. Joe Thomas has had a great camp, looks fantastic, incredible. We're okay there. You start looking at our defense. The big question now is, who are you going to play? You're getting a whole bunch of guys in rotation. We haven't even scratched the surface yet on Randy Gregory, where he's going to go. But you got Taco looking like he's a lot better than what he was last year. His trajectory last year was going like this. Right now it looks like it's going like this. He is developing some moves because he was very, very raw. Very raw when we got him last year. I remember seeing in training camp him stepping inside and do a spin move, boom, just like a spinning top, and got right past the offensive lineman. I think it was Lyle Collins. Literally left him standing still. Speed kills. And if he starts developing these moves, boom, you can see him playing. Tyrone Crawford, shoulder is finally healed. Tyrone Crawford does not look bad. Deontay Jones at tackle is looking good. Kona Ely, not looking too bad. And of course, you got DeMarcus Lawrence, who last year had more quarterback pressures than anybody else in the NFL, 52. He's looking to break the bank. And if that's not enough, you still have a David Irving who, hopefully between now and those 4 weeks, is working on getting his mind right, getting his body right, and taking care of business off the field. That could be one hell of a rotation. And if that defensive line can put constant pressure and the way they shut down the run against the 49ers, that makes the linebackers that much better because they're clean. They can read the plays, clean up. And that makes your defensive backfield better because they're not having to hold up for 5, 6, 7 seconds. And make no mistake, it wasn't our offense the reason why we haven't made a run for the Super Bowl. It was because our defense. Our philosophy has been for so long that our offense will make up for our defense. We'll end up holding on to the ball long enough to keep our defense off the field and protect them. I think that that's going to be going out the window because I think this defense is going to be taking it up another notch or two. They're going to get turnovers, they're going to be shutting people down, and they're going to be keeping the scoring down, and they're going to take some of the pressure off the offense for once. And that, my friends, is winning football. I'm as excited as can be about this team. Like any team, we have some places that you're kind of worried about. Still, you know, Xavier Woods doesn't look too bad. Kevon Frazier doesn't look too bad. We're still weak, thin at safety. Your tight ends are still kind of an unknown, but you're seeing guys, it may be actually tight end by committee. Rico Gathers moved up to third on the depth chart, and on that touchdown run, you're seeing him actually blocking well. Last night on our live stream, thank everybody for joining us because we had a great live stream. I'm amazed at how many people we have on here. We have a great time, even with you trolls. But having Vash Lombardi, if you don't know who Vash is, check out Vash. Vash is a film breakdown guy. When it comes to draft and getting these guys out of college, I don't believe any of the talking heads, the experts out there know anything more than he does. He is literally like a machine gun spitting out the facts and stuff on these guys. He breaks it down. He's incredible. But I had a thought about Vosh from last night, and I can't remember it. Wow. He was talking about Connor Williams, because right now, that's the weakest link on our offensive line. Not bad. And everybody will talk about the sack that he gave up, but he played 33 snaps. And he gave up one sack, sack pressure, whichever one you want to call it. One play, he ended up basically stopping his feet, leaning into the guy. He kind of lost his technique there for a second. He's going to get better. But you also now know, like we said, problems we had is having guys that can back up. Cam Fleming, he needs to move his feet a little bit more, a little bit ugly as far as his blocking goes. But if you lose a Tyron Smith, boom, you got him to step in. So look for our team the course of this week and this week game coming up to do a lot more work with that second level guys, that depth on this team. And I believe, I know what the thought was. It was about Rico. Sorry, I'm getting old and forgetful. That's why I keep telling you, make sure you know, let people know what you're thinking, because tomorrow I might not remember to tell you guys how I feel about you. Rico is actually doing better blocking, and Rico realizes that you don't have to get the KO block. You know, in high school or college, you looked at film sections, you always got the play circle where you literally knocked the guy out. Boom. Flat out. But it's not necessarily about that. What it is preventing the guy from getting to the play. And what Rico is learning is my body's big enough that I can just get in the way and they can't pursue. And that's all you need. On the touchdown run, he did exactly that on the backside. Boom, gets in the guy's way. The guy can't go around him. So he's developing and he's learning. We know about his skill as far as catching. It may end up being tight end by committee, because each one of these guys have a little bit better skill set. You know, Dalton Schultz and things, Swan, have a little bit different skill set that you might see a lot of two tight end sets and things and use these guys. And that's going to be the great thing about this team is we have so much diversity that the offense is going to be less predictable. It's been a long time since we changed up anything. Players, play calling. You looked at film 3 years ago, 2 years ago, last year. It was all the same. With so many new parts out there. An Austin, a Rod Smith, a Hearns, a Gallup. You don't know where it's going to be coming from. And that's what this Dallas Cowboys needed last year. Well, I've got to go over here and take care of my mother-in-law. And remember, make sure you call your parents. You call your kids. Your wife, husband, whomever. Make sure people know how you feel about them, because you might not have the opportunity again. I'm Mark Holmes, and I'll see you guys